Hey guys, Lady Lee here from Lady Lee's Home. I wanted to share this special crop with you. It's Daikon Radish, and I hope I say it right. I always planted radish in my garden, always grew radish. It's one of those crops that is cold hardy, and you can plant it right when the soil can be worked, and it matures quickly, and it's one of those first crops of the season that always get that like gardening going, and the excitement of the garden kind of starts with radish a lot of times. The problem is that the common radish, the small radish that I usually grew, if to be honest, I grew it more just to get to gardening already because I wanted, the season to change and things to start moving on. It usually is small and it's hard to handle in the kitchen, and a lot of radish varieties are too sharp and the kids don't like them. And growing it just for myself wasn't really worth the time a lot of times, or the space in the garden. And honestly, if to be honest, I didn't have too much success of selling it at the farmers market. One day I saw Jill from Whispering Willow Farm harvesting daikon radishes. I've heard of them before but never really included them in my garden, and it looked really fun to harvest. I love pulling big root vegetables out of the soil, so I decided to give it a try and completely fell in love with this crop. It is super easy to grow, and you get a lot for your effort. Some say that it originated in the Mediterranean. Others say that it is coming to us from China. It doesn't really matter. It is very popular in the Asian cuisine. They use it a lot in stir fry and pickle and in kimchi, all kind of different dishes. Before we go over how to grow daikon radishes, let me go over some of the benefits of this crop. First of all, it's a large type of radish, which for me means that it is easier to handle in the kitchen. They are very good for the soil because they're super strong, and they're not spoiled. They can grow in very poor soil, and therefore a lot of farmers grow them on a larger scale to open up the soil and loosen it a little bit. It can also be a really good feeder crop. So if you have animals on your homestead, donkeys, pigs, chickens, ducks, whatever, you can take a little section of undeveloped, raw, poor soil land and plant a whole lot of daikon radishes and then feed them to your animals. They will also benefit the soil in that area and maybe prepare it for other crops. They are cold hardy, so they can sustain very low temperatures. You can, just like carrots, grow them, plant them in the fall, and then when frost comes, just cover the tops with frost fabric or with greenhouse plastic, depending on how harsh are your winters. And then the ground will become a refrigerator. The roots can stay in the ground, and you can keep harvesting and eating from that bed the whole winter. They grow very fast, so 55 days to maturity, super fast. They taste great. They're sweet and they're not sharp at all. And they're also colorful. So the daikon radish is really the white, longer radish variety. But the Johnny Selected Seed Sites lists a couple of others colors. So the red one and the purple one that you see me harvesting here, they list that under daikon and Korean radishes. We grow all of them the same, so I just call them all daikon radish and hope that nobody gets mad. Now let's go over some growing information. All of that is listed on the blog, and I will link to the blog post below. You can print the card with all the information. But basically, like I said before, these are cool weather crops, so you start them, plant them in early spring or for fall harvest and winter harvest. Soil requirement: well drained, pH 5.8 to 6.8, but again, they can do just fine in poor soil. But of course, ideally you want good garden soil. We direct sow these right in the garden or in pots. You don't need to start them indoors. Planting space, I usually plant them about 1 inch apart in rows that are 12 to 18 inch apart, and then once the plant germinate and grow a couple of inches, I thin them to a final growing space of 4 to 6 inches in between plants in the row, depending on the variety. 55 days to maturity. And to harvest, just like you've seen me doing here before, you hold the tops and pull gently. They come pretty easy. Cut the tops about 2 inches above the crowns. And then storage, you just wash them, give them a good wash, and then bag them in a plastic bag like Ziploc or something like that, and refrigerate. They can last in the fridge or in a root cellar for 6 to 10 weeks, so they're very good storage crop for the homesteader. These are really easy to grow, and here you see me just giving the tops to the chickens because they can also be really good, not just for the homesteader but for the rest of the homestead too. And I love that in a crop. We as homesteaders and farmers, we spend so much time in the garden and with the animals, and if we can kill two birds at once, and when we do something and that something is good for the animals and the soil and our belly and everything else together, that's a really big benefit. I hope that you'll give them a try. They are truly a really easy crop to grow, and they're delicious. There are a few different suggestions on ways to use them and preserve them on the blog, and again, I will post a link in the description below to where you can print the growing information and check out some of the resources and links. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.